Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jay from Decro Designs, and you're here for the first YouTube video ever on this channel. Big thumbs up to you just for showing up, much appreciated. We're gonna do tutorials, tips and tricks, DIYs on all of our products and the things we make on the daily. And today's the Ocean Flow resin table, so without further ado, let's get into this video. So starting off at step 1, we simply take the primer, mix it with some black acrylic just to get some nice tones on the side that's going to receive the resin, just so we can start playing around with, kind of the ocean blue that we're going for. I started adding some color here just so we can start now defining the ocean tones. At first I went for like a very, very dark, stormy ocean. I thought that was going to be a really cool vibe to go at, but at the end of the day, when I started adding the white, started seeing a bit of a difference here, especially when I went for the second wave. I just took a step back and I was like, okay, this is gonna have to change. So I anyways went after like finishing the wave and repainted it to a much deeper blue ocean color, just to get very experimental. Painted the waves back, and that is the backdrop set. Just have to wait for it to dry. And we took it inside. Taking it inside, we painted a few more colors on it, starting to now define into that little indent that we set there in the middle. And the indent is basically acting as a spot where we're going to put the shells and the stones and sand later on, and also the meeting point between the ocean and the natural wood which we're going to keep, which is going to symbolize the sand. There we start putting a bit of colors in. Go for like a really teal green, a very light teal green kind of color, and essentially that's the meeting point between the ocean and the sand. So here now we're starting to put now the stones and the rocks in and the shells, just having all fun with the first thin layer of resin done, which is going to act as a holding point to keep all these shells and stones in place before we pour the next few layers over it. So we're just having fun, being a bit random with the process here. The more random you are, the more natural it starts looking, a bit more of that beautiful deep ocean effect you're going to get, especially when it comes to having all the shells and the sand as a formation. As I said, the more random you keep it, just the more awesome it's going to look. From there we started pouring in the next few deep colors that we started waiting for, that real teal green that we went for. Later on you're going to mix some white, and that's going to become a bit lighter. That's going to help us blend in a bit of the backdrop a bit more than what you usually would think of. So pouring in those colors, you just need to wait for it to set a little bit. And whether you have a blowtorch or a heat gun typically works better. As you can see, we're using the heat gun with the white, and that gives a really good natural flow kind of look to basically the ocean, because you're trying to imitate the waves coming to that point. And essentially we're doing the same again after pouring a much larger coat of resin over the full table, and now trying to reenact these waves. We're pouring a bit of that teal green into the waves, trying to really now define those flowing colors, trying to really get a lot of that cool ocean waves crashing and essentially pleating back into the ocean from the sand. So really a lot of playing around from that point. So if you have a heat gun, it makes it super easy just to really help get that natural flow, blowing it back in and just having a really super cool look at the end of the day. And right now, after that, pouring all of that, we're coming now to the final coat now, which is a simple transparent coat. It's going to keep it nice and neat and clean. It's going to keep it smooth, and essentially a lot of bubbles are going to come up. So if you have a heat gun or a blowgun, it works as well to take the bubbles out. As you can see, we're going over with the blowtorch right now, and it just really helps taking all those bubbles out, keeping it a smoother, cleaner look, and coming to something really beautiful, which is the final table that turned out super duper awesome. In any case, guys, thanks so much for joining us today for this first video that went up. We are planning to do more. If you liked what you saw and you think you might want to see more things get made, then you should probably hit that notifications button if you want to. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and in general, just have a bad day, I suppose. Or don't. Maybe have a good one, but probably have a bad one.